Morning, everyone. This is going to be fun. You're going to enjoy this. The sermon that I'm sharing with you this morning was written and originally presented by Reverend Sarah Movius Schuur, who doesn't have a congregation of her own, but rather works as a specialist and facilitator for small congregations, not unlike ours, within the Pacific Western region of the UUA. She begins. Love. It can be such a confusing word in our language. I can say, I love my children, and I love Downton Abbey. Now, both of these statements are true, but I can assure you my feelings for watching the adventures of the Crawley family pale in comparison to the connection I have with my children. Love means a lot of different things. People experience love differently, even love that might look the same on the outside. The ancient Greeks had something that helped. Different words for different kinds of love. One is eros. Eros is the passion that young lovers feel for each other. It's the romantic head over heels that's often connected with physical attraction. Many of us think of romantic love as adorable or even enviable, and it can be. Eros is what most of the songs on the radio are about. But the ancient Greeks often considered it dangerous because of the out-of-control nature and the way these feelings can get you into trouble. Eros is a very powerful force. There's also pragma, or long-standing love. Those of us who have been married for a long time know that the crazy new crush feeling does not last until the golden wedding anniversary. It's something else. It's a different love. Pragma is based in compromise, in mutual regard and respect, in tolerance. I have heard that when we start a relationship, we fall in love. Over time, we instead stand in love. That's pragma. Makes me sad when I hear that folks think that if the crazy eros feeling fades, it means the relationship is over and you have to move on to a new eros. But the love of pragma, which sounds, pragmatic to me, is a fine love that will see you through the hills and valleys that life offers up to us. It is a comforting and a warm love, even if it's not so thrilling all the time. Now, another word supplied to us by the ancient Greeks is philia, the love of deep friendship. We have philia for a comrade we fought side by side with on the battlefield or in the trenches of a social movement. These are the old high school or college friends that we still feel so close to, or the poker group that's met every month for a decade. Philia is more constant than eros, more reliable and lasting. Then there's ludus, or playful love. Ludus can range from a flirtatious dance to the joshing that happens at Mardi Gras. Most of us have had the experience of flirting or suggestive kidding with someone just because it was fun. It didn't mean anything, like a deep connection. It was kind of a mutual game. Now, ludus is only problematic when it's confused for something different than it is. Then there's agape love, the selfless love for other human beings. We often refer to that love as compassion or empathy. Agape is what keeps nurses warm and friendly as they care for the demented patient, what urged the firefighters to run towards the Twin Towers. The Buddhists call it loving kindness. If you were to read the Christian Bible in its original Greek, Koine Greek, this is the first word you would hear over and over again, agape. In fact, the reading from 1 Corinthians that we often hear, the one about faith, love, and hope, isn't about the love between honeymooners, it's about agape. Now here's part of this famous passage with the word compassion inserted as a better translation than love. Quote, "If I speak in the tongues of mortals and angels, but do not have compassion, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and knowledge, and if I have faith so as to move mountains, but do not have compassion, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions and I hand over my body to be burned, but I do not have compassion, I gain nothing. Compassion is patient. Compassion is kind. Compassion is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoings, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Compassion never ends. Prophecies will come to an end. Tongues will cease. Knowledge will come to an end. Now, faith, hope, and compassion abide these three, and the greatest of these is compassion." Unquote. Last on the list of words for different kinds of love is philautia. Philautia, or the way you love yourself. This kind of love needs to be balanced. There's self-love that's positive, self-esteem, and a happy self-confidence. That's good. We need to love ourselves and treat ourselves as valuable people, because doing so helps us take good care of ourselves as valuable people, because doing so provides a base from which we can love others. But then there's arrogant and narcissistic self-love that can be destructive. It can overshadow the compassionate agape love and keep a person focused on themselves alone. And that is not so good. In the movie by the same name, Forrest Gump says, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." Well, all right, he's quoting his mother, but come on, still. Is that true of love as well? You never know what you're going to get? Well, life is full of surprises, and love can be as well. Like love, chocolate comes in many forms. The confection we usually think of as chocolate is made of processed cocoa beans mixed with some kind of fat and some kind of sugar. How much fat and sugar and whatever else they add determines a lot about what it tastes like. You ever tasted unsweetened baking chocolate? We all have, very, it's really bitter. Eating it is not a pleasant experience. Bittersweet chocolate, on the other hand, is made just of cocoa beans, cocoa butter, and sugar. The cocoa content's often about 70%. And the flavor's kind of complicated. It has the pleasant sweetness of fine chocolate, but it's not very sweet. You can't eat too much of it because after too much, the bitter starts to come through. Now, milk chocolate has more sugar and less cocoa than the bittersweet. There's no bitter aftertaste. It's easy to eat, but after a while it can get cloying in its sweetness. Chocolate can disappoint. Think about the mass-produced inexpensive chocolate in coins or in Easter bunnies. You look at them and say, wow, chocolate. They look like chocolate. They're brown like chocolate. You bite down, there are so many additives, so much partially hydrogenated soybean oil. The taste of the chocolate just isn't there. And sometimes we keep eating it, thinking it must be good because after all, it's chocolate. But it never works. See, I think love can be like this. Not everyone has the same needs in terms of love. Just as some of us like a 70% cocoa content, others like a 35%. There are even those who like white chocolate, although, and I'm interjecting here, several years ago I edited a segment at a Swiss cocoa shop, chocolate shop for the PBS show I work on, and they clarified there is absolutely no cocoa in white chocolate. And the owner of the shop said they call it white chocolate because no one would buy it if they called it fat and sugar. Anyway, just like chocolate, there's a wide variety of tastes in what we look for in a loving relationship. Some folks want excitement. Some folks want comfort. Sometimes we don't get what we want. I always get the maple ones. In terms of eros and excitement, is it love or is it just a good time? The key to living in compassion and respect is to know what you seek, and if you enter a relationship, make sure you know what the other person seeks. So, we're going to take part in a chocolate communion. Now, best laid plans department. Reverend Schuur, with her sermon, said, get equal exchange, individually wrapped, dark chocolate pieces, fair trade, organic, because that's what you want. And I'm telling you, they are not easy to find. In fact, when I went to Whole Foods to get something like that, they had nothing, they had very little like that, something that pure, and it was too late to order it from Amazon. So, we're going to improvise a little bit. I have in this basket some chocolates from the ethical company Tony's Chocolonely. And they're a great company, and there are different kinds here, but I want to explain to you just so you know, because there are lots of choices here. Okay, the blue one is dark chocolate. The green one is dark chocolate with almonds. They are both vegan, if that matters to you. The red one is milk chocolate. The orange one is milk and caramel. The yellow one is milk with almond nougat. And the purple one is dark milk chocolate with pretzel toffee. Now, I've also... So, that's right. So, but I also have Dove pieces here because we value diversity, and you know, they're not fair trade, they're not organic, you know, but they're safe. You may know them already. So, we like that. So, Kevin is going to pass these down the aisle. Please take a piece of chocolate of your choice as the dish passes by, but I want you to wait before you unwrap and eat your candy. What do you want? What do you want to know? Which one? All right, so you got the green one. That is dark chocolate. That's dark chocolate with almonds in it. Okay. Should have put up a graphic here. It says here they are. But don't open it yet. And I'm not going to be the one, I'm not going to eat one with you because I have to talk. And you don't want me to give a sermon with my mouth full. Okay. No, we're going to do a chocolate meditation together. So stand by. You're going to like this. Yep, Tiny Tony. Yeah, usually they have big bars, big thick bars, and they're really good. And they know exactly where the chocolate was farmed and the quality of the work there, and it's an honest chocolate. Okay, does everyone who wants one have a piece of chocolate? Because you don't have to take one. Okay, now, all together, unwrap your chocolate and hold it in your hand. We'll pick up the papers later. Okay? All right, hold it in your hand. Okay, look at the color. Smell the aroma. Do you think it would melt in your hand? Is your mouth watering? Okay, now, take your chocolate, and rather than put the whole thing in your mouth, I want you to just bite off a tiny bit and let it dissolve slowly without chewing. Okay? Now you'll get to finish it. It's all right. Okay, notice the taste. Notice the sweetness. Are there any other flavors present in your chocolate? Some of you have. How do you feel when you eat the chocolate? Is this flavor associated with any memories? Okay, when you're ready, go ahead, finish your candy any way you want to. You can continue to nibble at the edges, or you can pop the whole thing in your mouth, or something in between. Now, what did you choose to do that? I guess it sort of depends on how big the first nibble was. All right, when the chocolate is gone, how do you feel? Yeah. Thank you, Cliff. It's the very end of it. I've only got a paragraph left, but yes, it's true. Love is like a box of chocolates or a basket of chocolates. Both can involve some choice and some risk. Love and chocolate can bring you joy, but they can also be kind of messy, can't they? Different people have different tastes and different desires, but know that your love and your life is honored here as we grow in compassionate community. May that be so, Reverend Sarah Movius Schuur.